Dale, thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to hearing all about Poly and the local market and the opportunities for resellers as we go forward. So with that, I'd like to hear all about Poly. Tell us about Poly.
Well, Poly came about when Plantronics, which is a well-renowned company, purchased Polycom. Plantronics was extremely large in headsets and audio. Poly was very big in video and voice, and it appeared to be a very good marriage, and it has been. In regards to the joining of those two companies, they've chosen the name Poly, which in Greek means many, and so that we feel that's what embraces what we do. We allow everybody to be around the table and have a good meeting experience. Both the companies have over 30 years experience, so there's a phenomenal amount of R&D and history that we've had, and yeah, it's working really well, and we've got a lot of alliance partners that are doing exceptionally well in the marketplace, such as Microsoft, which obviously Distributor is a big partner of as well.
How do you see the landscape over the next few years, and where does Poly fit?
The landscape, obviously we all know that the reality is that people can work from home, which is good when need be. And Poly is lending itself very heavily towards that in regards to if you are working remotely at home, but there will always be people in the office as well, you need to feel as though you're part of that meeting, not, oh, well, you know, Harry's come in from home, so it's terrible audio, terrible video, or whatever it is, and you don't feel like you're part, and you actually get to the point where you don't want to say anything because it's just embarrassing because you constantly ask, can you repeat that, can you repeat that? So I think Poly's going to deliver on a lot of the those small offices and remote offices, because, you know, it could be someone's home, it could be the Invercargill branch, it could be the Dunedin branch, but when you're having a team meeting and the flavour of the day is the stand up with the CEO, you know, everybody needs to see and hear him clearly so they can get the message, become enthused and push forward for the greater good of that company. And, you know, Poly's got some new products that will launch in 2021. Some have already been launched theoretically on the web, and you can see them, and they're really exciting, and they fit that small office, because New Zealand is a country of a lot of small offices. Yes, there's Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, but then there's all the other small branches. So, you know, from the headset to the handset to the small video camera to the 12 times pan tilt optical zoom in the massive boardrooms of Wellington and Auckland.
Resellers have a number of options on the table in terms of the brand selection. Why should they consider Poly?
I think a couple of reasons. Poly does have people on the ground. They have myself, obviously, as a partner manager. We have a solution design engineer, Mike Prestige. He's here. We have a lady who runs all of our RMAs. Not that we have that many of them, but when we do, we move them pretty quickly. So we've got 3 people on the ground. We've got Distributor backing us as well. And I think probably the one thing I'd pick, and where we tend to win the business over other people, is around voice. And there's a saying, and it's really resonated with me, is that you can sacrifice the video. So we're here right now having a conversation, and let's pretend we're on video. If the video turns to garble and I can't see you, but I'm hearing you clearly, we can still continue our conversation. The moment that the voice has been compromised and I can't understand you, we're no longer having a meeting. And Poly, you know, some of the capacity around the voice components, if you're on a video call and your next door neighbour's dog is going rah, rah, through the whole meeting, we can take that and go, that is not verbal, we'll block that. Your kids might be having a meltdown because, I don't know, something didn't happen, Netflix went offline or whatever it was, and, you know, they're not in the room, and because of the beaming technologies, you can just literally block that. Because the thing that I'd say too is that everybody keeps talking about video fatigue, and I'll probably get myself in trouble, but I don't believe there is a thing called video fatigue. There is voice fatigue. Because if I have to look at you for a long period of time, Harry, that can be okay, but if I'm struggling to hear every single word that you say, you will end up with a thumping headache. That's where the fatigue is. It's in the voice. If you're like, what did he say? You know, if you're like, you know, right next to your laptop and the voice is being compromised, you've got a real problem, because it really is taxing on the body to strain to listen.
What support does Poly provide to your reseller partners?
We have a lady based in Auckland who does the RMAs, but we have a team that follows the sun. But more importantly, we have around 10 engineers based out of Sydney they engage very quick, very early. You can go to a portal, you can log it, you can call up the 0800 number, they'll patch you through. And then once they start working with you, sometimes if it's immediately DOA out of the box or it has physically died, then as long as you get that into us and we accept it by 3 p.m. New Zealand time, a bonded warehouse in Sydney has it flying across the Tasman and will arrive the next day if you're Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch. If you're in a remoter site, it might take another day. Because video is kind of mission critical when you think about some of the companies that use video. 30 years we've been building our support systems and how we log calls, how we mimic things. And I guess one of the other things I'd say too is that, if there's a problem, and let's say it's with one of the major alliance partners, being Microsoft, we'll take that call and we will work with Microsoft to address that. And it could be our hardware or it could be something within the Microsoft Teams environment, but we will work together. We won't say, well, it's not us, you need to talk to somebody else. We take that and we manage that through the entire process. That happened recently in a very high profile customer based in Auckland. And we were able to replicate the fault, and Microsoft were very good about it. They said, yep, we see where this is, and it was a bot from somewhere. We had them fix it, and then we came back to the customer and said, solved.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time today, Dale. Sharing the vision and imparting that knowledge, it's really appreciated.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harry.